Episode 1, July 5th, 7:20 p.m., 4 days after the incident. Nathaniel Blake is lying across from me. He is 16 years old, 5'9", 154 pounds, has no allergies and no chronic illnesses. At least that's what his medical chart says. And how I know that is not important? I don't actually know the guy, but we've been practically inseparable for the last couple of days. Plus, even though he hasn't regained his consciousness yet, I'm pretty sure he complains as much as I do about being here. He just cannot express his frustration. I have it easy. I can roll my eyes and sigh as loud as I want to. But there's no one to see it, so what's the point? Nathaniel Blake was supposed to travel across the Pacific in a couple of days for his dream vacation in Australia. He has been preparing for the trip since last summer, and it was kinda a big deal because that would be his first totally independent adventure. And I know that because his grandparents lament about it every time they visit. He can probably hear you. It won't make him feel any better if you keep reminding him how sad it is he won't be able to go. His left arm is encased with a cast. Luckily, the doctor said it should heal very nicely, and that he shouldn't have any movement difficulties afterward. I always pretend to be asleep when he has visitors, so I have a little trouble forming opinions about his friends. He has too many. They seem like good fellas, though. The guests usually come in the mornings, which works for me because it's easier to play dead when you're still tired. And I know they would feel a lot less comfortable talking to him if they knew I'm awake. Plus, I wouldn't feel comfortable looking at their sad faces either. I talk to Nathaniel a lot. I feel a little guilty because I can't know for sure he even wants me to talk to him. But the silence of this place really gets to me. So I made him my friend in spite of him being unconscious. He knows me really well. And he can't tell me to shut up, so I never do. I try not to whine too much and keep it positive to cheer him up after all that sobbing he's forced to listen to, but I can't always help myself. My butt cheeks hurt from not really changing this half-seated position, and the Wi-Fi dies on me every 5 seconds. I have plenty to complain about. But he's alive, and I'm alive, so there's that. It's nice to have a friend who listens so well, but I do hope he wakes up eventually. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. There's a TV hanging from the ceiling, but I don't know how desperate I'd have to get to turn it on. The ads play every 10 minutes, and they're so loud it makes me even more hyper and annoying. And we don't want that. At least I have plenty of time to meditate. No, I don't meditate. I just watch Netflix. Though I never realized staring at the screen all day could be so exhausting. Headaches are no fun. So I have to take breaks, and then I'm left with me, myself, and this beautiful ward. And that is not sarcasm, it's actually really pretty. Minimalistic, by budget or design, who cares? We can only see whites, blues, and some pinkish whites. And the light wooden window frames on the tilted wall complement those colors very nicely. There's not a lot of space in this room, but in my opinion it makes it cozier. We have our own bathroom that seems to be clean and doesn't give you chills when you walk in. Not that we use it much, especially not Nathaniel. And for me, getting out of bed is still very challenging, so I try not to drink too much so I won't have to go to the toilet too often. I have the smallest bladder on earth. The sun is setting and the whole mood starts shifting. I have a wide view of the lake when I look outside the window. The water reflects all the colors of the sky. A gradient of perfectly aligned hues is breaking through the clouds. It's insane how sexy the sky can be. Lots of blues, yellows, and purples. Do you know what else has lots of blues, yellows, and purples? My chest. Not as sexy though. It's been 5 days since I was brought to the hospital. I can't tell if it's a long time or not, but I feel like the recovery isn't gonna be as difficult as I thought it would be at the beginning. When I first woke up in this bed, I could barely breathe. It felt like my ribs were all shattered into pieces and my face was so swollen I couldn't open my eyes. The bruises aren't really fading away just yet, but I'd say half the pain is gone. I mean, at least I can breathe, see, eat normally. I used to be obsessed with watching medical programs, plastic surgeries, body transformations, treating horrifying skin conditions. But they tend to be very repetitive and predictable, so I especially liked the ones when something went wrong along the way. Like that one time the doctors were stitching up the patient's toes and they couldn't bring back the blood flow. And of course, it's probably a little scripted for the sake of the show, but they did look genuinely terrified that the toes would turn black and fall out. That was exciting. Luckily, I didn't need any surgeries. I'm pretty much just bruised up, I think. No internal bleeding, no broken bones. But they wanted to do some more tests on me and asked me to stay for a couple more days. My parents come to visit once a day, but somehow they manage to make this place even gloomier than when I'm alone. I'm surprised they even care. Or maybe they just feel obligated to come. Like, we barely even talk. Why are you here? I mean, I do get it. Not everybody has to like each other. Not even people blood related. And it's fine. We're just very different people. And if it makes them feel better when they come to check on me, that's cool. I feel like I am understanding, but still, I'm not gonna lie. This whole situation is very frustrating. And I am aware that the problem is more on my side, because most of the things that they say wouldn't bother me if they were said by somebody else. Today, like every other day since I've been here, they asked me how I was feeling. Now, if any of my friends or nurses asked about it, I'd take it as an act of caring. But when the same question is asked by my parents, in my mind, I go berserk. And how do you think I'm feeling? Have you looked at my face? Even though in reality, I don't feel that bad. I don't know where that anger comes from. Maybe because they never cared before. Why now? But I just reply, as politely as I can, that I feel okay. 10:30 p.m. I wear earplugs when it's bedtime because once it gets dark and the rest of the hospital's asleep, the heart rate monitor that Nathaniel's still attached to, I swear, levels up in volume. I need something to occupy my mind. I just read 100 random facts on some website, and did you know that by taking just one step you use over 200 muscles in your body? That means that today I used the same 200 muscles at least 20 times in 3 series while I had to use the bathroom. That's a legit workout, if you ask me. There's a group of friends skinny dipping in the lake. I wonder how much time will it take for them to get in trouble. I mean, they are far away from the buildings. I can barely see them myself. And there's a pretty dense forest spreading behind the lake, but that's no less than half a mile away. Other than that, the space is quite open. 10:45 p.m. I can hear Dr. Graham talking on the phone behind the door. I swear she doesn't sleep, or even go home, like ever. She's the one who takes care of me and Nathaniel. She and the whole staff, they really seem to care. It's nice to see them coming in here so often to make sure that we're doing okay. And here's the thing, Nathaniel can't even complain, and every time they check on us, they make sure to adjust his body so that he's comfortable. Sweet. Since I can't actually remember what happened to me and why I'm here, after long conversations and many checkups on me to make sure there's no any brain damage, Dr. Graham told me that thinking out loud makes your brain work more efficiently. She must have read those random facts on the internet as well. I'm pretty sure it was fact number 48. Well, I don't know about thinking out loud. She probably wouldn't be happy to hear that I traveled back in time. I think I'd be put in a different kind of hospital. So, I hope keeping a journal will do just fine.